One of the first questions I want to ask, are we ready? All right. One of the first questions I want to ask is, what is success? Because many of you are really thinking about why you're here. And we talk about leadership, but why study leadership? What's the point? And many people are trying to process, all right, we're talking about leadership. I don't really understand leadership, because in most places, leadership is done incorrectly. It's done wrong. And I've been in enough situations to know when I see poor leadership. And because I've been studying and developing myself as a leader, I've been in leadership positions, I've worked under strong leaders, I've worked under weak leaders. I've come to the realization that most people just don't have a clue what they're doing when it comes to leadership. And that's fine, because it's something that just doesn't come to us. It's actually counterculture to lead right. It actually works the opposite way that most people think of leading. You see, when most people begin to lead, they're trying to control something. They're trying to grasp for power. They don't understand that the fundamentals of leadership is convincing someone to do something of their own will or accord. And so when people say, why leadership? The biggest thing that I can come up with is the average leader makes more than double the salary of their counterparts. And ultimately, what a lot of people care about is money. If you want to make money, you must lead in every context that you go in. And you must have the power and the understanding to know what's happening when it's happening. If you don't understand leadership and power dynamics, what will often happen is you'll be the first fired and the last hired. Because you don't understand the situation of what's going on. When you develop a leadership intuition, you will be the first hired. And no one will be able to fire you because you'll be the boss. And I think that's huge. And so success, as a definition that we're using, is success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And we'll give you more on that later. But success is the progressive, meaning the ongoing, you're moving towards somewhere, realization of a worthy ideal. Now I want to pack that down for you a little bit, but let me say this first. Some people try to figure out what success is, because success is relative, right? When you get it, all the relatives come around. But success is relative. When you're 4 years old, success is not peeing in your pants. Amen? When you're 12 years old, success is just having friends, right? When you're 16 years old, success is being able to get your driver's license, right? When you're 20 years old, success is having sex. Actually, but when you're 35 years old, success is having a degree of money. When you're 50 years old, success is having more money. But when you're 65 years old, success is having sex. When you're 70 years old, success is trying to keep your driver's license. When you're 80 years old, success is trying to have friends. Everybody's dying all around you. And when you're 85 years old, success is not peeing in your pants. See, we're working in a cycle here. And success is relative depending upon who you are. And what we want to get you to realize is that if you start out on a journey right now, there is nothing that can stop you from being the success that you want to be. There's a quote that we use and that from Jim Rohn that says, from testimonials, meaning things I've heard about other people, and personal experience, things that I've experienced myself, we have come to the conclusion that it's possible. Think about it. It is possible to design and live an extraordinary life. From testimonials, there are too many books out there of people that were losing in life and wound up winning. There are too many people that I know that came from nothing and now they have the world at their feet. And if they could do it, why not me? Most people people think when people succeed it's just based on luck. Let me tell you something. Nobody is that lucky. Lucky is winning the lottery. And don't you know that 98% of the people that win the lottery are bankrupt in 24 months? 98% are bankrupt. They have to file for bankruptcy because they are dead broke. Because poverty is not a financial status. It's a state of mind. And if you think poor, all you have is more money to be poor with. I was talking to one of Bobby Brown's old managers. He works in Minneapolis and Dunwoody Academy and Dunwoody School. And he still works, he has his own company. And he used to be Bobby Brown's manager. They don't know who Bobby Brown is? They know who Bobby Brown is. And Bobby Brown, once he made it big, you know, his first album was with New Edition, and he made it big, and he was an R&B singer. Then he cut out from New Edition, made solo albums. But what Bobby Brown manager was telling me was that he bought him a house. He bought his entire family a house in the Georgia area. Now, he was living in Los Angeles, but he bought a house for his family in the Georgia area. And he says one time, it was so bad that his family gave a call to his manager because Bobby wasn't returning their calls. And so they called, and he said, Craig, our toilet is stopped up. He says, well, call a plumber and use the other one. They says, no, all of them are stopped up. There were 16 toilets in the house. And what they decided to do was when one got clogged up, go to the other one. When one got clogged up, go to the other one. Because they were poor here. Had all of this access, all of this money, but poor here. And let me tell you something. If you want to succeed, there's some things you got to break here. The biggest problem that I've seen in failures and people that live a failing life, the biggest consistent thing that I've seen is that they live a life where they're locked in poverty here. And success often is a state of mind. It's amazing, but I never have heard someone who is really wealthy based upon being able to grow themselves. I've never heard them with a low self-image. Now, I've heard people that have struck the lottery of life with low self-image, but no one who has built themselves through the process. That's why some people are surprised when all these people, these superstars, are doing crazy things. They become wealthy, and people think they're crazy for doing all these things. I believe it was the running back from Miami who basically turned down a contract because he didn't want to stop smoking weed. He turned down a contract for millions of dollars because he didn't want to stop smoking marijuana. Ricky Williams, thank you. Then he sobered up and now he's back, but that's because he got broke. But think of the concept. A person says, I'm not going to play professional football, that I'm gifted. You only get so many years you can do this because I want to smoke marijuana. See, because it's here. And people that become successful are often poor at the end of it. If you win the lottery of life because you're physically talented, you have a great voice, or there's some talent that people will pay you to do, but you don't go through the process of becoming a success in here, you will rip down your success. You will tear it apart. You'll shred it. If you have a low self-image and you achieve success that is greater than what your self-image can handle, your low self-image will rip you down and tear you down until you're a failure again. That's why you have major people with major endorsements still going bankrupt. Oh, you can count them. MC Hammer. You know, people that are losing everything after their talent and their shining light has gone. Their whole financial world crumbles because they never developed as a person. But you can begin to build a foundation that will never stop. From testimonials and personal experiences, things I've experienced on my own, I've got to believe that it's possible. And what we want you to do is just begin to imagine that it is possible to design the life that you've always wanted for yourself. There are about 100 million messages in your head right now telling you that it's not possible. You come from this family, this social class, and this ethnicity. It's telling you in your head. There are voices in your head telling you no, it's not possible. But what I want to tell you is it's possible to design the life that you've always wanted. We're going to take you down the journey to show you how to get there, but we can't take you. It is a personal decision of your own will that will decide, today I'm starting a new life. And I'm going to reach for whatever I want to dream and make happen in my life. And all of these things, the fruit of your labor, will begin to come and meet you. It's going to be a blast.
There was a young man in 2002 he came here to ULA. He was a part of my youth ministry in St. Paul from 98 to 2002. And he came here in 2002, and I remember asking this question. We asked the question, is it possible for everyone to achieve their dream? Is it really possible? And we had asked that question in our youth group, and we also asked it within ULA in 2002. I went back and looked at old notes that I had in my ULA folder. And this particular person, I remember that year, prepping up to ULA, he was in high school, was a fantastic basketball player, had great potential, came from a kind of a rough family background, but had a job, had money, had good grades. And when we asked this in youth group, he said, yes, I can. I can. And you looked at him, and we believe absolutely, he had conviction in his eyes. He had a pulse that beated to say, yes, I can. For sure. Limitations in my family or not. He took me aside in our youth group and said, you know what, Pastor Jamie, no matter I don't have a dad, my mom's working all the time, yes, I can. And it showed in his high school career. Great basketball player, workhorse for a guy who worked and had money on the side, good grades. Came to ULA that year and was sparked alive. Sat in the same chairs that you were sitting, different camp, just like you were, same type of setting. Pastor Steve giving a challenge. Came away from that weekend, yes I can. Yes I can. Comes back in a 2-week academy, which many of you are going to experience, and had knowledge poured into him. The light turned on. The passion deep down started to arise. He started to believe, I can be successful. Yes, I can. And afterwards, he went into youth group, and I remember we came back, and that was my final year of youth pastoring. And I remember he had tears in his eyes. I said, I want to miss you, but I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to make it. I left in 2002. I actually, long story short, ended up moving to Minneapolis and doing work actually with Pastor Steve and Pastor Rachel. And I lost contact with some of the youth there because it ended up being a whole new group of people started to minister to. I just talked to this guy in 2011. And I don't want to say his name because we're on tape and that. He's depressed, in a broken relationship, and kids that he doesn't want, and that he struggles to see. Broke, doesn't have a job, busing, lost his car, lost the home that he thought he had. You look at him, his face is withdrawn. The yes, I can do this, exactly answering what Steve says. Everything about him now at 25 years old says, no, I can't. Is it possible for you to achieve success? Is it possible for you to achieve your dream? He was sitting there and he said, yes, I can. But something happened along the way. And everything about him says now at 25, no, I can't. He ain't playing around no more. No, I can't. His life shows, no, I can't. So here we are again, 7 years later, 8 years later, asking you, is it possible for you to achieve success in your dream? Is it possible? Listen to this quote. Some people have a dream that has no connection to reality, and others aren't willing to do it. So some people have these dreams, but it's not, they don't know how, there's no connection to reality. Other people just say, no, I can't. Well, we don't believe there's anyone here. In our prayer times, in our times of meeting, we believe everybody here can. That's our belief. Our job as dream leaders for you, as success coaches for you, as motivators in these 2 weeks, is to encourage you, and if you have any doubts, our job to tell you is saying, yes, you can. Like this young man, he had to make the decision. We could just encourage him. And can you? We believe you can. Well, what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to start seeing the invisible, your dream that's invisible right now. You have to believe that it can come to pass. You have to believe that you can do it. To make what's invisible a reality. You have to believe that, yes, you can make it. And more than make it, yes, I can dream and actually see my dreams come alive. Even at 25. Yes, you can. Our job is going to be to do this and help you with this. It's called the science of achievement. Our job is to help you put a plan together so you can say, you know what, yes, I believe I can. I do have faith. I really do have faith, and I believe I can. The problem with that young man was, and I look back on it, I took responsibility on my end, not quite to give him the tools that he needed to help coach him and give him, the science of achievement is giving you tools, the leadership edge, for you to put into practice what you desire to have in your life. And you're going to need tools. So it's called the science of achievement. And you're going to get that this weekend. You're going to get that in the 2 weeks. A process to help you. If you put into practice at 25, you're going to say you can't believe the success that you're achieving. Because if you put these things into practice, you can do it. Now, second thing that we want to give you is called the art of fulfillment. The art of fulfillment says when you're achieving the success, you want to be passionately alive. You don't want the success like the Bobby Browns, like the example Steve gave. You're at the top of, quote-unquote, the success ladder, but there's no fulfillment inside. So there's something about these two. You have to know how to do it, but also there has to be something on the inside that says, I'm passionate about what I do. I love life. I'm alive. And when those two things match, true success happens. True success really is knowing your purpose, growing to your potential, and really knowing how to sow seeds to bless others. That's our hope for you. That's the prayer that goes on for months and months and months for this day that you arrived here today. That would happen in your life. But what do we need from you? Here's what we need from you. You need to answer the question, why are you really here? Why are you really here? Because nobody else, no matter how much we want to coach the success that we believe that's there inside your spirit, you have to answer the question, why are you really here? Is there a purpose that you're here? Or is it just that whole camp thing? My youth pastor, my mom, my grandma, whatever, somebody told me to come. Why are you really here? And secondly, what we need you to do then is to make decisions. Because all these things that you're going to be put in front of you, you're going to have a choice to make. And we're going to need decisions from you to make it. The problem with that young man who I talked about, who had passion, he made the decision, but he didn't follow up after the 2 weeks. And we're going to ask you to make decisions in your life that will change your life forever.
You see, there was another young man. And what happened with him was amazing. He came from a background that expected a lot out of him, but he was determined to rebel against it. But the same thing happened. He came and sat in the seats that you're sitting in, and he made two decisions. One, I don't care what anybody says about me, because he was working way under his potential. He was going to schools getting bad grades on purpose because he didn't want people laughing at him, getting advanced classes. But he sat in classes that were way too easy for him because he was trying to be cool. And so he decided he didn't care what anybody said about him. He was going to go achieve. The second thing he decided, when he achieved, he would give back. And right now, he went to college. Then he went and got his MBA from the University of Minnesota. Now he's teaching at the University of Minnesota in the business department. He's running a staff at 25 at Luther Social Service, and he's pastoring a church with his wife in Brooklyn Park. Doing everything he wanted to do, simply because he said that he could. We have young ladies that are attorneys, that are pastors, that are somewhere working and serving people all over the place. We have young men that have raised up and taken on the call to do some incredible and amazing things. But they had to get those voices out of their head that every time they went to achieve that says, you don't deserve it. That's not for you. Those voices that says, this is who you are. Those voices from other people that keep echoing in your head, trying to slow you down. But there are some things that we wrote on your sheet of paper right before you go to your groups. And I want you to listen to them really quickly. For things to change for you, you must change. Things don't change without you changing first. No one is going to hand you a lottery ticket saying this is a winning ticket. Now you just go collect the money. You have to fight for what you want. It will not be handed to you. Because if it's handed to you, you won't be strong enough to deserve it. And so it's going to be something you're going to have to fight and you're going to have to struggle for. But you will win, you will achieve, and you will overcome. The second is, don't wish things were easier. Wish you were better. Everybody wants things to be easy. If everybody had $1 million, nobody would be rich. Money would become worthless if everybody had it. Don't wish for things to be easier. If things are easier, everybody can get to that level, and then you won't be able to succeed because you'll be just like everybody else. Wish you were better. Say, I'm going to be better. I'm going to knock this thing. I'm going to overcome it. Make a decision. Don't wish for less problems. Wish for more skills. And the final one is, don't ever say, this job pays too little. This is all this job pays. Because that's not all these jobs pay. If they're paying you $7 an hour, it's because you're doing a $7 an hour job. I bet you the CEO of that company makes a lot more money than you do. That's not all the job pays, that's all the job pays you, because that's all you qualified for up until this point. Qualify yourself for more, increase your skills, refine your leadership, be the one that does it and makes it right. And if they don't treat you right at that job, that's okay, because all you're doing is establishing yourself and you're building a stair step and a foundation for you to move to the next level with the next job. You be stronger, you be better. And we want to challenge you to think about these things. And so we're going to send you to your seats to go, and when we get done, do we have the video ready now? We're going to wait till you come back. We're going to show you something that some of you probably have already seen before, but it will blow your minds when it comes to success. So we're going to send you to your seats for a few minutes, and then we're going to, we want your leaders to kind of coach you through your own dream map. And we should be able to talk about it.